Hey, everybody, on this episode of the GH Report, Lulu is stabbed, Kevin goes blind, and Jason falls off a ladder. Oh, man, we got so much to break down, and we're going to do it next.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, there we go. There's that familiar music we know so well. Welcome back to the GH Report right here on AfterBuzz TV, breaking down every episode of Port Charles, or General Hospital, which takes place in Port Charles. We all know where that takes place. I'm your host, Frank Moran. Carla Renata, very busy. The SAG Awards are on tonight, and she is, she's walking amongst the stars, breaking down all the winners and losers and giving some in-depth commentary about film. So follow her on social media to get some inside scoop about everything that she's got going on this evening. But while she is away, I decided to reach back to my partner in life, my partner in crime, Erika Schreiber.
Good evening, everybody. Once again, big shoes to fill, but I will do my best.
Oh, well, you're going to be fantastic.
Awesome.
Due to a incredible demand, you were back. You were back here.
All right, we'll go with that.
Yes,
we'll go
that's
with
right.
that.
That's
yeah?
right.
Yeah. All right. All right. Awesome.
As always, folks, like us on Facebook, give us 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and the chat is up and running, so I know all of you folks are on there already commenting and sharing your thoughts about General Hospital storylines. Keep at it. And if you're watching after we stream live, feel free to comment down below. But without further ado, we will break down the week that was, but I will ask first, just overall, what's your impression of this week in General Hospital?
I mean, I'm so distracted by the ladder storyline and the what are they called? The
Catacombs?
The catacombs. Thank you.
Yes.
The caverns, the catacombs. Yes. So I'm distracted by that. We have a lot to break down with the catacombs.
Yes.
Frank and I just had a lot of opinions about the catacombs. But I don't know. It felt like kind of an action-packed week. I think a fair amount that went on. So yeah, I mean, it was a pretty quick and engaging week, I think.
I feel like with the Ryan Chamberlain stuff, it's one of those where it's some action, some intrigue, but then we're going to get a little bit of a respite because of events that we'll talk about. So I'm excited for finally the revelation to be exposed.
Oh, I hope so. I am counting the minutes. I mean, when I was here a few weeks ago, I was really ready for it, and here we are 2 weeks later. And I don't know. I'm hopeful that this is the beginning of revelations on that storyline, but I don't know. Now that he's looming over Lulu's hospital bed, I don't know.
Looming.
I'm not sure.
Why don't we just jump right into it there, and we'll talk about what started off the week was our gal Lulu, intrepid reporter Lulu Spencer Falconeri, had a clue. She had a suspicion, I should say, about Ryan's murder count, and reached out to Kevin to get some clarification.
Yep.
She thought it was 7 because that's what she found online. Her mother told her she saw a list of 9 names. So she reached out to Kevin to get some updated info. And lo and behold, without ever coming forward he basically just, without saying, I'm actually Ryan, basically just lays everything out to Lulu. But she can never quite, although I guess if you have a box cutter right in front of your face, are you really trying to take time to connect all the dots?
Right. But yeah, at that point, I didn't understand why he felt the need to continue drawing it out. I've laid out the crumbs. I've given you so many clues, so many hints, and it's like, just say it.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming she understands that that's Ryan, but I guess we'll find out when she wakes up.
It's tough to say, or if she thinks it's just another psychotic break that Kevin's having,
right,
thinking that he's Ryan.
Right. Well, and that's what I'm curious to see is, when she wakes up, if Kevin tries to, how he tries to spin this, or Ryan/Kevin, how he tries to spin this. Because I feel like things with GH are never that clean cut. She wakes up, hey, everybody, Kevin is actually Ryan, end of storyline. There's going to be some curveball thrown into this.
Again, and we've talked about this before in the show, where it's, for us, if somebody that we thought was dead had come back and said, guess what, I'm alive and I've taken the place of my twin brother, we'd be like, what the heck? But Port General Hospital takes place in a world where people do come back from the dead.
Yes.
So within that context of that show, I feel like that's always should be something that you should keep in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
If somebody's acting like the way that Kevin is, like, you should probably keep in the back of your head, like, maybe he's his twin brother and he's back from the dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I would always want to, I would always think that. I would just always assume.
Yep.
You're your evil twin and you're back.
I also, just as a quick side note, I thought he was pretty brazen taking the driver's license before he had actually killed her or attempted to kill her. I don't know if we've ever actually seen the crime in progress such that we knew that he would take the driver's license before, but I always envisioned like he does the dirty deed and then he takes it and takes off. But I thought that was pretty brazen. But I guess he has full confidence in his murdering skills.
Well, but it felt like, sure, a full confidence, but he really drops the ball on this one.
Yeah.
For doing such an expert job at his previous 9 victims.
Yeah.
And then plus the 3 that have been here so far.
Yeah.
We got Mary Pat Kiki and then the film director.
Yeah.
To add Lulu to the list, like this is this one slip up, and it wasn't like he was rushed in that act.
Yeah.
Certainly, it was a little bit of improvisation because he was really looking to target Sonny and Carly.
Yeah.
And this Lulu thing kind of spurred up at the last second, but there wasn't any rush for him. He closed the door. He was able to talk for a while. I don't know why he necessarily messed up in that attack.
And was he just hanging out in the corner, like checking his phone, or like
why
was he still there?
I think he was wiping the blood off the weapon.
Oh, okay. I don't remember offhand what he was doing, just there in the corner
Yeah.
when she got up from the floor. He was just hanging out.
Yeah, it felt weird. I feel like I mean, I guess you're not going to kill Lulu Spencer Falconerio.
No.
Too big. But
no.
I also felt like the staging of it and the way that it was all, like, it felt a little awkward to me.
Yeah.
Where she comes back to life and she's, like, oh, I was just unconscious and now I'm back up.
I also thought, too, just him just happening to go blind right in that moment. I mean, of course, with soaps, you have to suspend a whole lot of reality, but that timing was just a little too perfect. I'm like, I mean, of course we need to move this along somehow, but I thought it was just a little too on the nose.
I actually didn't mind that in the sense because then it tied it into a different storyline. So it was interesting to see 2 storylines kind of connect at such an inopportune
Yeah,
time.
that's true. That's very true. It was unexpected. That's for sure.
So I did like that where we see Ryan, I should say. He goes blind, afflicted by the same virus that had happened to Anna. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so, we're looking at twins right now. So which I'm still waiting for Finn and Anna to put that together. Like, oh yeah, we both have twins.
You had mentioned that to me when we were watching it, the notion of this is only happening to twins. And do we know that that's a thing? Is that a part of this storyline, that this only afflicts twins? Or was that just something that you pulled out?
Something that I just pulled out. I have no idea but it seems like those are the 2 things that they do have in common.
Right.
Other than having some connection to some WSB, DXV kind of things.
Right, okay.
But I feel like, that seems the closest common denominator.
Well, and then you quizzed me in the moment about what's the other set of twins, and of course I couldn't remember, but it's Jason and Drew.
That's
so
right,
I guess we will see if Jason and or Drew is also afflicted with the blindness. But
yeah, there you go. Yes, Erika will love it when I do those impromptu quizzes on her. She's like, no, I don't have time for this right now. Just tell me the answer. Just tell me the answer.
Yeah. Well, in my mind, I was trying to think like who is identical. I was like, whose faces match, and then that's why I didn't quite piece that one together, but it's a low point for me.
Yeah, there you go. We're keeping track of all this.
Yeah.
So yes, he gets struck blind. So Lulu's able to escape, gets up to the Metro Court, runs to Mom.
Yeah.
Passes out there. They're able to save her life.
Yeah.
But Kevin does show up at the end of the week. Excuse me, Ryan. It is Ryan acting as Kevin, but does show up in the doctor's room after in her room, and is going to get ready to smother her. So it feels like it's going to be one of those where the experience of the initial stabbing plus Ryan smothering, she's probably going to come out with no memory at the time of what happened, which is going to buy the storyline a little bit longer.
I guess. I mean, I like that he left the murder weapon behind the scene.
Yep.
So there, in theory, is there fingerprints or DNA or something that could help identify him, because even though he's a twin, I mean, I don't know. Actually, I don't know if I guess it is identical, but are fingerprints identical? I'm not sure.
I don't think so. Not for twins.
I don't know.
They're like snowflakes.
Beyond my knowledge.
They're like snowflakes.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
There you go. So I like that there was some evidence left behind that perhaps could still, like if he as Kevin, it just tries to, however he tries to wiggle out of this, hopefully there is some concrete evidence that still ultimately points the finger in his direction as Ryan.
I'll give it up for the man, though. You lose your vision, and he's still able to come up with a litany of reasons for as cover for why I'm really Kevin, and I have nothing at all to do with anything that's happened with Lulu.
Yeah.
And any concern I have for her is not just worrying about my victim being alive,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm just worried about her just as an individual.
Yeah, no, and I'm so desperate for forward motion on this storyline that even when Patrick came in after the surgery and he looked kind of serious, I thought, oh, maybe like in surgery, there was something like, whatever he found with, whatever they found with Ryan didn't match Kevin's medical records. I was hoping for anything.
Well, I mean, okay, you did say Patrick, because I know you're really a huge fan of Patrick Drake.
I'm sorry.
And you miss him. Griffin.
I'm sorry.
Your boy Griffin.
Griffin.
Yes.
My bad.
With his little scar, or with his little cut.
Yes.
Was I read that we had to spend too much time talking about?
Yes. My bad. Yes.
Yes.
Griffin, indeed. He came in and he had this very serious look on his face. It's like, oh, did they like discover something in surgery? But no such luck.
Well, the one other thing that we, as you're speaking of evidence, though, is that we found the box cutter still there, but we also saw one bloody footprint.
Yes.
And it looked like it, of course, would be on Ryan's shoe, which Ava took home. She's like, "Oh, your shoes are here. Let me go home. Let me go home and bring you back some slippers."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, okay.
Of all the things you're thinking about when your significant other goes blind, like comfortable footwear.
Yeah.
Top of the list.
I don't. Do you bring slippers to somebody in a hospital?
I don't know. It's not the thing I would think of.
If I was in the hospital, would you bring me slippers?
And if you wanted them, but I wouldn't. It's not the first thing I would think of.
No. Well, all right. You just wouldn't like.
But you don't wear slippers.
No, I don't. But maybe in a hospital I would. I
mean-
have no idea. I have no idea. Maybe I find out that I'm a hospital slippers guy.
But it would not be top of my mind. That's for sure.
Understandably so.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for the scene that has Ava at home pulling out the shoes out of the bag and realizing that there's kind of blood on the bottom of them.
Yeah.
Well, and also, because he was white. If there's the one bloody footprint right there, then he walked through the Metro Court. We're on the elevator, so I'm sure the blood kind of wiped off. So there's really not much blood left on that shoe. But
yeah. I know. I'm sure. I can't imagine she's going to be really inspecting the bottom of his shoes.
Yeah.
So my hope for forward motion. I don't think we're going to find it there.
No. But you know what? We are going to find. We're going to find our next topic in just a second. But first, we want to say thank you, everybody, for making us the ESPN and TV Talk. And for us to continue to grow, though, we need your help. So if you're on YouTube right now, and why wouldn't you be? This is the place to be right now, watching this stream live. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. And if you're on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating. But no matter where you are, leave us a comment so you can get involved in the conversation. Being a part of the AfterBuzz TV community has meant so much to all of us, and we truly appreciate you supporting us and doing what we love. So don't forget to tell your friends and keep enjoying our shows. Just like you. Look at that. You enjoyed our shows, and now you're here.
And here I am. I watch on YouTube.
Look at that.
I'm one of those that needs to give it a thumbs up.
That's true.
I need to get on that.
Oh, so you've been watching the show? It's been revealed now. No thumbs up from Erika.
No, I don't give anybody. I'm like a YouTube lurker. Like I just watch things and.
Cool. All right.
I know.
Thank you for supporting me in my endeavors. Oh no.
Yes. It's the first thing I'm gonna do tonight.
I doubt it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I'm never gonna get a thumbs up, am I? So, as I mentioned, it slims right into the Ryan's blindness, goes into the Anna and Finn storyline, and we get a little bit more movement on that too, where Anna and Finn find out about this. They go ask Kevin some questions / Ryan, who says, "Oh, I've never talked to anybody in the WSB. I have no involvement with any agents or whatnot." But our boy, Robert Scorpio.
Oh, Frank loves Robert Scorpio.
Shows up, man.
Yes.
He comes back with some information to find out that, yes, indeed, Kevin Collins had some interaction with Dr. Abbott.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to say that this little wrinkle of this storyline is not sucking me in yet, because it's just too much. It's like, because this isn't actually Kevin, so the fact that Kevin had some connection doesn't really matter. I don't know. Like it's not pulling me in yet. I have to say I need this to move forward a little bit more.
But the idea is that it exposes that it's one more way that Ryan can get tripped up, to expose that he's not really that he's not Kevin.
Yeah, that's true. That's
he's not
true.
Kevin Collins. He's Ryan Chamberlain.
That's true, because he would not give himself this virus.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't. Sometimes these WSB storylines I just kind of zone out. For some reason they don't suck me in. You love them, but.
I guess back in the 80s, when it was more the heyday of Robert and Anna and Frisco, and Sean Donnelly, where the WSB was a little bit more prominent in the show.
Yeah.
But I feel like now when you just say WSB, it's like, okay, whatever. It's just some non-distinct government organization that just kind of pops in when the storyline calls upon it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. Robert shows up when it's convenient, and it just, a storyline needs a little nudge forward, but that's about it.
And we can name check Frisco occasionally.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
and,
yeah.
Anna can call him up. Oh, Frisco, thanks for that information.
Yeah, yeah.
But
yeah.
that's it. Yeah, but would you? Does the world of the WSB intrigue you enough that you'd want to see more focus on the WSB in GH?
I mean, I've never, stepping back a little bit, I've never been drawn to the kind of we're traipsing around the world having adventures storylines on GH. And I think you and I are very different in that regard. I think you enjoy those storylines. I just don't. For some reason, they don't suck me in as much. But where I do enjoy the WSB is when Anna is just so cool. She just busts out some WSB knowledge or something. I do enjoy that. I definitely do. But do I need more, traipsing around the globe, WSB adventures? I don't think so. But I know we're different in that regard.
Well, I mean, I think these days, given the budgets of soap operas,
yeah,
the idea of having those big globe-trotting adventures doesn't appeal to me as much. Although I love them, because back in, even if you watch old clips on YouTube, or even when I first started watching in the early 90s, when they were shooting more on location. They could do outdoor set scenes and stuff, and it was kind of made the world seem bigger.
Yeah.
And that was always cool. But now so much of it is just going to be done in a soundstage, and to the amount that you can get outdoors is when they go to that park.
I was just gonna say the park with the fence.
The park with the fence. That's what they can do.
Yes. Yes.
So it's like I don't. To show me one big wide shot of Russia from when we were focusing on Jason Morgan coming back, or Paris when Anna was there trying to track down some stuff about her missing child, from Peter. You just show us the big wide exterior, the Eiffel Tower, and then all it is just like hotel rooms.
Yeah.
It's not as much fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Than to actually, if they'd actually had the money back and to go on location and
that's
shoot.
True. That's true.
On the streets of Paris, or somewhere that's not the park.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just somewhere else.
Or somewhere else in the park, not next to the fence. We'll take that at this point.
Yeah. I think the last time I can remember something really cool happening was, the Jason stuff when he was escaping through there. They just had him running through, I think it was just the office buildings of GH. Of the actual General Hospital Productions, the studio and stuff. I think that's where he was kind of running through. But there was I think it was Jerry Jacks when he was had the bomb or whatever that he was going to detonate in Port Charles. And there was a sequence where Luke got on a helicopter and Anna was talking to him, and then the helicopter takes off. I feel like that's the last time I can remember something whoa, they pulled out a helicopter for this.
Yeah, yeah. But
that was years ago.
My memory on that is even vague. It's quite vague, although I do miss Jerry Jacks, I have to say.
I know.
You
didn't get enough of him in that escape room? this photo on that?
Yeah. Yeah, I just fast forwarded through that escape room.
Did?
I did. I thought it was so odd. The whole thing was so odd, and it just didn't suck me in. Again, when I don't do a show like this every week, I can just kind of fast forward through those moments. The escape room did not suck me in.
But come on, if somebody had set up a GH escape room, wouldn't you want to go to it?
But it's just the artificialness. The escape room just happens to involve all the people that are in the players' lives. It's so odd. It's just the whole thing. So kind of like the nurse's ball.
Don't get me started on the nurse's ball. Do not get me started on that.
I know. Indeed.
So we've got our Lulu and Ryan storylines here percolating for a little bit. Yeah. But the one thing, as we kind of move on to other storylines, the one thing I did like about that is it's always nice to see scenes of Laura and Sonny talking. Yes.
No, I love the history they have. I love that, when she was still running for mayor, and Sonny, approached her and said, hey, if you need to kind of steer clear of me, I understand. And she was like, no, we have all this history. And so, yeah, I agree. And I liked seeing Laura in full-on mom mode. I liked how she approached what had happened to Lulu, and just the way that that Jeannie Francis as an actress comported herself at Lulu's bedside. I found that really compelling.
Well, it feels like, when Jeannie Francis left last time, I felt like Laura's previous return, other than the kind of, the somewhat dealt romance with Kevin Collins, it was we'd see it every so often.
Yeah.
But I felt like she really didn't have much going on.
Yeah.
And it feels like this time now she actually has stuff going on, and she's able to be more involved in storylines and have really good scenes and moments.
Is she back for good contractually?
Yeah.
It's just she's like a full, just a, because I know there's always kind of comings and goings with Laura.
It seems like, as far as we know, it looks like she'll be around for a while.
That's
So,
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like it's as much as I'm, again, as we talked about last time, always a little bit on the fence with this whole mayor thing. But so far, I like how Laura is showing up as mayor, and I like how she's showing up in her storylines.
Yeah, so now we've got Sonny while he's trying to help Laura go through this terrible tragedy, this crisis. He's also dealing one with of his own, and that's Mike.
Yeah.
He is kind of really starting to lose a lot of his memory.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think this is. I don't think there were any. As much as they're approaching the point of having him live in the facility full time. I feel like this continues to progress, in a very methodical way. So, as much as it was a big step this week that they're realizing that it might be time for Mike to go to the facility full time, it didn't feel like, a big revelation in that storyline. It just seemed like how things are naturally unfolding.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see once that happens, when they make that step to like, now he's going to be in this facility on a regular basis, how often we dive back into that storyline.
Right. No, that's true. That's true.
Is it going to be one of those where we kind of let go for like 6 months and then we like, oh yeah, hey, we'll check in on Mike, for a hot second.
Although they are setting it up that, and I'm sorry, remind me of the woman that he's in love with now.
Oh, I want to say Irene, but that's not it.
Marcus's wife.
Yes.
Why am I forgetting her name?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I was frustrated.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're kind of setting up.
Estelle.
Is it Estelle?
Maybe. All right, we'll say. I think it starts with an I. It starts with an I. Yeah. Anyway, yes.
But they're setting up this complicated but sweet relationship between the two of them. So there would be something to explore there. But I don't know. You're right. I mean, once he's living there full time, are we going to see Sonny and Carly there more, or how are they going to manage that? I don't know.
Yeah, and we still need to get any sort of Yvonne.
Yvonne.
There we go. Or
Yvonne. Thank you.
Oh, boy. Look at that.
Oh, the chat's on the screen. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, because we also have Daisy's involvement over there at the facility as well, because she's the one that was trying to stir things up with Sam. And that's right now seems to kind of just die on the vine.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're going to get any more follow-up on that as well.
Yeah, that's true, because there was that newspaper and on that topic, kind of the weird email Sam was getting, all of that seems to have subsided for the moment.
But I know that Maurice Bernard is that this coming week is going to be some rough episodes for Sonny and Mike. So,
oh, really?
I mean, okay. I can imagine like taking your dad over there and it's like, this is going to be your new home now. That's, I imagine that's got to be tough it's basically step one of saying goodbye. Yeah,
absolutely. And Mike is so kind of in and out of present time. Who knows how this will be explained to him and how he'll process it. So I can see how this would be a tough next step in the storyline.
Have you enjoyed Max Gale doing it? The guy who's playing Mike?
Yeah, I mean, he's grown on me. In the beginning, I wasn't so sure. But I appreciate how this storyline is being handled, and I think he's done a really good job with it. I mean, I think when they first introduced this storyline and brought him onto the show, I've always found the Sonny Mike dynamic a little funky. It's always been a little bit stiff, and so when Mike used to show up, when it was the other actor whose name I don't know,
yes,
I don't know, there was just kind of a stiffness to it.
Ron Hale.
Okay.
Yeah.
That I didn't really resonate with. And so when Mike showed up again, I'm like, before we really knew how the storyline would unfold, I wasn't sure what I thought of Mike being back on the show. But yeah, no, I think he's played this beautifully. What do you think?
No, I've enjoyed it. It's, it would have been, I mean, I know Ron Hale's retired, so that's the reason it seems like he didn't want to come back for this. It would have been interesting. I mean, I guess as a longtime viewer, it has a little bit more resonance if the person that kind of originated that part comes back.
Yeah.
But I completely understand where it's like, no, I'm done with that. I'm not going to come back to that. So if that's the case, then you need to find somebody else that can really bring the chops for it. And I feel like Max Gill is a fantastic actor.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. And in the beginning, we just really had no idea how this was going to unfold and on what timetable and what pacing. And I feel like it's become, it's a sensitive storyline and it's become complicated. And I think he's handling it beautifully. As
you mentioned, there Sam's blackmailing and all that stuff going on. We have Shiloh.
Yeah.
as well. And so we get to see Alexis have a little chat with Shiloh this week.
Yeah.
And it felt like it was, it ends on a weird thing. It's like the easiest cross-examination I've ever had.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it seemed like a weird way to kind of end. I mean, I know she says I'm a lawyer, I'm naturally skeptical. But it's something like a weird way to say end the conversation. I don't know if that stuck out to you.
It didn't. I mean, maybe for a moment, because you think about when have you been cross-examined in addition to this? But I didn't read too much into it. I think it was just a nod to her being an attorney. I don't know.
Are you intrigued by the Shiloh storyline?
I still am. I still am.
Really?
I am. I mean, it's another. I guess I want every storyline to move faster than it does. But I think we've been a little stuck now for a few weeks in this, like, does he have an ulterior motive with Christina or not? And he's being kind of questioned by everybody and has the same, kind of the same story for everybody. So now I'm like, okay, like, how are we going to break past this and move forward?
I feel like the one thing that I was hoping we'd have a little bit more dealt on was the Christina and Valerie dynamic.
Yes, yeah, that's true. We haven't seen much of that.
No, because it definitely, once they shared that kiss and then Valerie took off,
Yeah,
other than having just kind of like an awkward kind of look at each other.
yeah,
At Charlie's, there really has not been any sort of bumping into each other outside of Kelly's or anything for them to kind of just follow up
yeah,
on where they're at, kind of in terms of their friendship or
Yeah.
whatever the nature of that is.
Well, and Valerie, she shows up so infrequently as it is that it was an interesting choice to have the two of them have that moment. But I guess unless, Valerie's going to be brought back more regularly, I suppose there's really no way to move forward with it.
I mean, and I can only assume that if this stuff with Shiloh kind of reaches a crisis point sooner rather than later,
Yeah.
that Valerie gets brought in as part of the PCPD to investigate something, and then that's how they kind of come back into connection again, maybe?
I guess. Although I'm not sensing that. I mean, it's could be just one of those moments that just fades into the background, and maybe we don't hear of it again for 6 months, or who knows.
I hope not, because it'd be. I was interested to see, like, the storyline that they kind of would maybe setting up for Valerie.
Yeah, yeah,
For that, it's just finding out, coming to, being comfortable with your sexual identity.
yeah,
It could be. I mean, I think that's it's always relevant.
yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see what they do. And she's a character that just has had so little attention paid to her.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's a storyline I would love to see unfold. And I guess just the question is Valerie the actress for it, just given the fact that she's not on the show very much? So how, is she, and again, I don't know contractually what her situation is, but is she someone where if the writers had more fodder, we would see more of her? And if so, then absolutely, I'd love to see the storyline move forward. But I don't know if that's her arrangement.
Yeah, I hope we get to see more. But speaking of coming to grips with sexual identity and stuff, we have a little bit more movement on the Aiden front.
Yeah.
Where Jake finally clues in Franco and Elizabeth about the awful treatment that Aiden's been getting online from classmates and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And if the conversation comes up that it's like, oh, could Aiden be gay?
Yeah, yeah.
And what would your reaction as a parent be about that?
Yeah. No, this is a really interesting storyline too. And there's part of me that as a parent, I'm like, why aren't they in the principal's office? It's like there's that part of me that, I want them to take on this bullying, far more directly than they have been. But yeah, it's a really interesting storyline, and interesting to have the storyline focusing on a character who's so young. And so
Absolutely.
I couldn't tell you how I don't have any sense of how this will unfold. But I think it's an important storyline.
It's because it's as a child who may not even understand the thought, the feelings that he's having or the way that he's thinking, or just like not even having a way to, process that.
Right.
But having an adult around that maybe kind of having thoughts that are like, oh, this could be the way that leaning is interesting to see. Like the parents maybe being a little bit ahead of something that the child himself may not even properly understand.
Right. I mean, Aiden, maybe just far too young to, really sense what this means if this is the direction that it goes. But it could be a situation where, the parents are generally aware of it, or they may have their notions of Aiden's sexual orientation. But yeah, I don't quite see how it moves forward. Because again, it may not be something that Aiden fully understands for quite a number of years.
Yeah. Do you want to try some of his cupcakes, though? That's the important question.
I do. I do.
Erica's a huge fan of frosting.
I love
and
cupcake.
so,
Yeah, the cake is just the vehicle for the frosting. Is always how I describe it.
So when they were talking about like, hey, we're gonna the frosting, if we do it right, it's like a bouquet of flowers.
I was all in. I was all in on those cupcakes. Yeah, and I don't bake much, so it's not like I was about to like look up that same recipe. But yeah, I would have been all in on those cupcakes for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting to see Aiden just find something that he's passionate about for sure.
Yeah, no, and I really I like seeing this protective side of Liz and Franco as well. And Franco in particular. I mean, Liz has always been very protective of her sons, but Franco in this kind of new parenting role. I like how he's playing it. I like how protective he is of the boys.
How do you like Franco, just as a character? Like from where he's been, from the James Franco years to now Roger Howarth taking over the character and everything that's happened since then. It was a brain tumor, so you have to discount everything that happened when it was James Franco.
Yeah,
and just focus on what's happening now.
Yeah.
Do you like the journey the character's been on? Do you like the character where he is now?
I do like him where he is now. I like him with Liz. I like him with the boys. I really like him in this kind of stepfather role to the boys. I mean, there's not much more to do with him at this point. He doesn't have a storyline that's particularly active at the moment. But I do like this progression. And then he still kind of gets some shade from a lot of people in town, and he has to kind of fend that off. But he's just very confident. He's very confident in his life with Liz and with the boys. And so even when he gets the shade from Carly or Sam or Jason, he's built up his armor to that. And they're throwing shade for good reason, don't get me wrong. But I like that he's more comfortable in his own skin.
Well, I am glad that he's got to this point, because those times when he was jealous or insecure about Drew coming over, or Jason when he came back into town, that he was constantly worried about where he stood with Elizabeth, and like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to hold on to her. That Franco did not. I found him very annoying.
No, I agree. When even just co-sign what you just said. Yeah, there you go. No, I agree. When he was just so insecure and just couldn't take Liz's feelings at face value, that did get a little bit old. So I like him that he's just more confident in his situation now. Again, where the character goes, we shall see. But I'm really liking him in this father role to the boys.
Now, Daisy Flower there in the chat mentioned, it's like, I can't forgive him for Michael.
Yeah.
So everything that went down with him and Michael, can you look past that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. And honestly not something I had thought of in a long time.
But I mean, I guess it happens pre-brain tumor.
It kind of goes in the brain tumor column. And again, I mean, I understand that's, for people who were his victims.
Yeah.
That's small consolation when you've lived through it. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I guess, but it's just, again, it's kind of in the world of soap operas, just kind of suspending reality and disbelief, for the sake of moving forward.
I mean, we had that one little scene a few weeks back where Franco and Michael had that moment at the Metro Court.
Yeah.
Where Michael's just like, I know we're never going to, see eye to eye on anything, but he just had that moment of kind of, knowing that Franco's trying to do the best that he can for his now new family.
Right.
So it's like, it didn't necessarily absolving him or forgiving him of anything, but at least, I guess, Michael, I guess, pretty much of anybody here seems to be the most compassionate one on the show, that is willing to at least acknowledge what was done to him, but is still willing to extend, forgiveness, or at least an olive branch of sorts.
Remind me the timeline of that, because I forget often that Carly was engaged to Franco, almost married Franco.
Yeah, I mean, for the way that Carly talks to him now, anytime she sees him, I mean, it just seems so weird. It's like, but you also slept with Sonny.
Yeah.
And you hooked back up with him, so easy, Carly.
Yeah. Although I did enjoy their rapport when she found him in Kevin's office. I don't know. There's something about their rapport where, I don't know. There is a particular banter that the two of them have. Not a friendly banter, but there's a banter that they have that I enjoy between the characters.
It's almost like they can say these like mean things, but then still just continue on the conversation. They don't like dwell on the mean things being
Right.
said. They're just
Right.
like, okay, cool, yeah, I got it. Let's move on to the next
Yeah.
topic
Yeah.
that we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of the next topic, we got to wrap up here shortly, but we got to spend
Catacombs.
give consideration for the hottest storyline this week, folks, and that is
Oh,
catacombs. Got to get you some Port Charles catacombs.
oh my gosh. Every minute of this storyline just bugged the heck out of me. I mean, we were watching it together and I just had to keep telling Frank to pause just so I could complain. I just thought it was such a bizarre little storyline. And just fast forwarding to Jason and Sam. I mean, Frank has never been a fan of, never wanted Jason and Sam to get back together. I'm far more pro Jason and Sam. So we're different in that way. So I don't mind when Jason and Sam have an adventure and, they're doing their thing. But I just thought, and I'm just going to fast forward to when Joss and Oscar were stuck. And I mean, I get it that it was a rickety ladder, but it just seemed, when they went into the catacombs, I assumed they were going to get lost deep in the catacombs and there was going to be some mass effort to have to extract them. But so the fact that they got stuck literally at the base of the ladder to get out, that in and of itself was kind of odd. And then, Jason and Sam and Drew show up. And they kept saying, we don't have enough time to call, the fire department. And they probably wasted 20 minutes, saying that they didn't have enough time to call the fire department, where the fire department could have easily been there.
What I liked is that the fact that people had to reassure that they could see each other. Like, we can easily see you're down at the bottom of the ladder. We made it down. Like, I know. I can see you right there. I know you're I know you made it down. It's fine. Or that we made it up. I know. I watched you crawl right over the ledge.
You're right there. I still see you. I still see you.
Oh, that constant reassurance was just like, what is this?
And then when Jason fell back down and he fell through the ground, if I were Jason in that situation, I would just stay put. I would assume Sam is going to call the fire department finally. And, yes, I fell through the ground, but presumably I fell in a straight line down.
Yeah.
And so if I just sit here, they will find me. And instead, he goes on this hunt and he opens that grate. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why didn't he just stay put? Nobody, I mean, the fire department could have been there in 2 minutes if they all just stayed put and called the fire department, but they just made a series of odd choices.
I also don't understand, because Jason starts testing the floorboard. When he first gets down, this is kind of rickety. I don't know. And then he tested some more once everybody is out and it's just him. And he's like, Sam, I don't think I can wait. Like, just don't stand in that section. Just stand in
There's
another
no time,
area.
once again, to wait for the fire department to show up.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big space that you're in. Just
Yeah.
stand in the corner somewhere else.
Well, I also noticed after he found that spot, that it was a little bit, it was a little rickety there. That's the same spot where he hugged Joss, before he sent her up. So let's put double body weight right on this spot and hug, before I send you out of here. So the whole thing was just, I just thought it was kind of bonkers.
And it all leads to a nice dramatic rescuing of Sam diving into the same pier where she tried to find Jason before after he was shot.
We've come full circle.
Yep.
We've come full circle.
This time she found him and was able to bring him back.
Yes.
And
yes.
then they made that sweet love. Great.
Which again, I am for this. I'm for them. So I'm okay with that. I think, but just the journey it took to get to this point, I think was way too long. I mean, I understand she needed her time. Once she knew that Jason was alive, she needed to sort out her stuff. But I feel like she was done sorting out her stuff 6 or 9 months ago. And so I don't know why this took so long. So I am glad that we're finally here because I do like them together. I know you don't, but I do. I do like them together. But just this was a very labored journey, far more labored than I thought it needed to be.
Yeah, it didn't even need to be a journey. You didn't even need to start on it. You could have just moved on to something else. I would have been fine with it.
Although given how long she took, there was a part of me that wanted Jason to just kind of fall for someone else. And Sam's like, wait, I thought everyone was waiting for me.
No, sorry, Sam.
But no such luck.
Yeah, so very dramatic times on the catacombs, but everybody's back safe and sound.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. So Oscar, his time is dwindling, though.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, I keep waiting to see if there's any out on this for him, and I guess not.
No, I mean, all signs point to that, which, I mean, as we talked about before, I mean, I do like the idea of them telling a story that has a sad end, but
Yeah.
hopefully people can. I mean, that's sometimes there are sad ends in these stories,
Yeah.
which
No, it's true.
it doesn't make it maybe the most enjoyable one to watch, but it is a story that should be told.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. And I wasn't watching GH during the Stone storyline. And so we had talked about that during the week because I was curious as to how that played out. It's heavy. I mean, basically having two characters in a form of physical decline between Mike and Oscar. It's a lot. But it's real life. So I suppose this is the direction we're going with Oscar.
Yeah. So as we and it looks like it's kind of becoming faster than I thought we might have a little bit longer, but it seems like signs indicate that it's going to be coming faster than we think.
Yeah. 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 No, absolutely. Until he passed out, it was tough to say, but it does look like we're moving in that direction.
Which the only thing it does is like, well, now what happens with Kim, Drew? I mean, Julian still has other ties to Port Charles. I mean, and I guess Drew does as well, but Kim certainly doesn't. Does she stay? I'd be curious to see if that character stays in Port Charles, or they just kind of use that as an excuse to write her off the show.
Are Kim and Julian done for good? Do you
No,
think?
they had that little chat inside Charlie's there.
Yeah.
It seemed like they kind of reconciled of sorts.
I liked them together.
Yeah.
And it seemed like a kind of an abrupt breaking up. I mean, I understand why he did it, but the whole thing, it just seemed like, oh, okay, they're not together anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting close to the end of the show, but I figured we should do a little hot news.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Another person's going to be coming back from the not too distant past. That's going to be Sophie Matson as Sasha, coming back to pay a visit to everybody there in Port Charles. So to see if we can kind of tweak the tension in that, will Valentine's secret of knowing that this isn't really Nina's true daughter be revealed? So,
Of course it will.
Of
course it will.
Yes.
Of course it will.
So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
Not to mention that we, speaking of siblings, we saw everybody kind of hanging out by Nathan's gravesite, and kind of Maxie kind of saying, "Hey, I might be ready to move on to hang out with Peter."
And I really like Maxie and Peter as a couple. I do.
right.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that.
And of course, we're also going to see Lisa Albrecht. She's going to be back in the mix as well. Albrecht is always interesting when she moves in. And of course, she knows Valentine's secret. She also knows Nell's secret. So we're going to find out which do you think is going to get revealed first? The fact that Wiley is not is really Michael and Nell's baby, or that Sasha is not Nina's daughter.
I think that Sasha's not Nina's daughter, because that just seems like it's right there. With Wiley, I don't know what would push the Wiley storyline forward any sooner. I mean, unless, as I've always suspected, unless he has like a medical emergency and there's something about the medical records that are off. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of that would push that forward in a quick way.
Look at this. Some insightful commentary. I like it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for another episode of the GH Report. Holy cow, we did it.
Woo woo!
Erika, it's your second time. How does it feel?
It's fun. It's fun. Yes, thank you all for hanging in there with me. No, it's good. I enjoy doing this.
Look at that. No one is, everybody's apologizing that you have to deal with me.
Oh,
So,
well.
There you go. So sorry about that.
I'll have my own show. We can talk all about that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us here. As always, like us on Facebook, give us 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, give it a thumbs up while you're there. And as always, thanks everybody for hopping in the chat, sharing your thoughts. Couldn't do this show without you. But we'll be back actually next week. It's Super Bowl Sunday, but you know what? We're going to have a special guest next Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday, so, pull yourself away from the Patriots, Rams for just a little bit. Carolyn Hennessy is going to return to the GH Report. We're going to be
awesome.
Yes, we're going to be chatting with her
amazing.
for a little bit. Yes, she is awesome. I've had a chance to talk with her twice. I'm looking forward to doing the hat trick of Carolyn Hennessy interviews there. But as always, if you'd like to stay in touch with me, feel free to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie. Until next Sunday, we'll be back then with another episode of the my gosh.
Which show are you doing?
I don't know. I am having my own brain tumor come in there. No. Thanks for joining us here. We'll be back here next Sunday with an all-new episode of the GH Report. Back with Carla, back with Carolyn Hennessy. It's going to be a fun time. Hope you join us right here on AfterBuzz TV.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.